Readers of the Father Baptist series of novels, available at tumblrhouse.com, will be aware of this quote by St. John Eudes, which our clerical detective keeps framed in his study. The quote is, "The most evident mark of God's anger and the most terrible castigation he can inflict upon the world is manifest when he permits his people to fall into the hands of a clergy who are more in name than in deed, priests who practice the cruelty of ravening wolves rather than the charity and affection of devoted shepherds. They abandon the things of God to devote themselves to the things of the world, and in their saintly calling of holiness, they spend their time in profane and worldly pursuits. When God permits such things, it is a very positive proof that he is thoroughly angry with his people and is visiting his most dreadful wrath upon them." End quote. We are used to blaming the ecclesiastical authorities for the mess we are in. Heaven knows I do. But if St. John is to be believed, they are the punishment and not the cause. If this is the case, what have the people of God done to deserve such a chastisement? Of what must we repent, and could the solution to the crisis of the church lie there?
Well, I'll tell you what, there, countryman, you really got a good thing you ask me. What?
That's your French Canadian?
Well, it's going to have to do for the moment. No, that's really a good question because, well, as my nephew Albert would say, I don't like that, so it's a lie, because it shifts the focus of the evil clergy to our wonderful selves.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. We're responsible.
No, that's a terrible thought. But the answer is, yeah, absolutely. Because look at what happened after Vatican II. And I'll take the Révolution Tranquille, the Quiet Revolution of Quebec, as an example. Quebec was the most Catholic section of North America. Everything was Catholic. The trade unions were Catholic. Quebec had been led for a long time by a very, I consider a very good man, called Maurice Duplessis, who was the prime minister of the province. He died in 1959. He was replaced by another member of his party, I think, was it Daniel Johnson or someone like that? Johnson is a wonderful old French name. It looks like Johnson. See, back when the French Canadians had was something called a birth rate. Yeah, what would happen is that foreigners would get assimilated. So you had people with names like Johnson or Rion or Matonal who couldn't speak a word of French, even though their names looked like Johnson, Ryan, or McDonald. You see, because we were English, rather. Which some have made the same accusation toward me, but I think I speak very well. Anyway, here's the thing. Back in those days, it is hard to understand for us what a marvelously Catholic people the French Canadians were. At the time, the day that I was born, we had in Quebec a lieutenant governor, that's the representative of the Queen, by the name of Paul Comtois, who's important to keep in mind. And we also had, as Governor General of Canada, General Georges Vanier, and he and his wife are now up for beatification. Imagine that. They're up for beatification.
Okay.
That was the French Canadian leadership of that time. In 10 years, all gone, no more, bye-bye. We had the odious Justin Bieber Trudeau's even more odious father, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, as Prime Minister. And Quebec secularized itself as quickly as it could. It was the lay people doing that. Now, to be fair, the clerics went really awful after Vatican II. And not just in Quebec, but the Canadian hierarchy condemned Humanité. And when the odious Trudeau went to them and asked, He said, I'm going to bring in abortion and you guys are going to oppose me. And, oh, no, no. So Canada directly received abortion as a result of the well, I don't want to say cowardice, that would be unkind, of the collaboration of the Catholic bishops. But where were the laity?
Hmm.
They liked it. They still like it, most of them.
Yeah.
Same in Ireland. You know, the Irish, as Catholic can be. And only the first people before the heavily Irish Australians to vote in gay marriage. That's what they've become.
Okay.
Now, we got these clergy because we, the Catholic laity, in all of our multinational manifestations, whether here or South Africa or the United States or well, this is the United States, I was thinking Canada, Britain, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, we were not interested in Catholicizing society and evangelizing non-Catholics. We were not interested in living Catholic lives. We were not interested in passing the faith on to the children. Catholicism was for most of us merely a sort of tribal name.
Mm.
So guess what we got?
What the? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that generation of priests is still with us and in charge. One of them is now the Holy Father. I don't want to say that St. John Eudes' comments could be applied to him. I would never want to say that.
Yeah.
However, it certainly is an interesting thing.
Mm.
And we deserve it. We absolutely deserve it. If you don't like the misuse of the ordinary magisterium to mean anything our clerical lords and masters want it to do, live the faith yourself. How many of us know the four creeds? How many of us knew the four creeds at the time of Vatican II? Not too many. We know the Apostles' Creed because we recite it at the Rosary. We know the Nicene Creed because it gets thrown at us every Sunday. Do we know the Athanasian Creed? No. Do we know the Tridentine Creed or Creed of Pius IV? No.
Oh, there's good reason for that. That's
long. Like, no. And it's not like it was important like sports or movies or my job. Yeah, I know. Anything's more important than my religion. I know that. And so I've got the priests I've got. You know, ladies and gentlemen, when I was in the California National Guard ages ago, during the mid-'80s, when the prospect of the Guard ever being sent to war was seemingly minimal, we had a good saying, and it applies to clergy and laity both. Sleep well, America. Your National Guard does. So,
okay.
I would say, remember, dearest, dearest brother laity, our clergy will never be holier than we are. What?
Our clergy will never be holier than we are?
No. Where do you think clergy come from?
Us?
There aren't these special clergy eggs that are laid. You know, that's not how that happens.
Okay.
They come from lay backgrounds, lay homes, you know. So, oh honey, I laid a cleric egg. I thought I was pregnant with a child, but it's a priest. That's not how that works. Same for sisters. They don't hatch out of eggs either.
Wow. Okay.
Religious brothers, same thing. Even the Pope had parents. He wasn't hatched. None of them are hatched.
Well, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have good laity, you won't have good clergy. But it is, to be fair, a bit of a chicken and egg thing, because of course the clergy have an effect on the laity. And it is easier for the clergy to turn themselves around than the laity, because the clergy have nothing else to do.
Ah.
Whereas the laity are very busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Learning football scores, watching sitcoms. Anyway, sorry. Whereas the clergy, I mean, they have every priest has the tools close at hand to be a good priest. And every layman, it's not the case. Some of us have to struggle.
I just barely got reminded of a quote, because you're right. It is sort of turning into a chicken or the egg situation. But I'm remembering a quote just now talking about the spiritual generation, how the parishioners underneath a priest are always one step down in holiness.
Yeah.
Like if he's a saint, well then they're super pious.
Yeah, they're super pious.
If the priest is pious, then they're strong. But if the priest is lukewarm or whatever, then they're just they're a step down from that.
Yeah. Sometimes you will find a parish that's stronger than its priest. And usually there's problems when that happens.
Wow, yeah.
Well, I mean, if his predecessor was a really good guy,
Oh.
and then he comes into this mess of Catholics,
Yeah.
he gets very upset.
He gets upset. His parish doesn't get upset. He
No,
gets
they
upset.
probably get upset too. There was a fun story in Guatemala in the 80s at some point. This new American priest came into this parish. And that was a poor little church, bunch of Capuchinos. The only thing of any value they had, other than the chalice and paten, were the silver ornaments that were put on the statue of the Virgin Mary on the annual fiesta. So he decided that he was going to sell these and give the money to the poor of the parish, which was just about everybody. Well, when they got wind of that, they tied him up, left him on the side of the road, and called the bishop of Guatemala City and told him to pick him up. They'd had enough already.
Wow.
It's what we call lay action in accordance with Vatican II.
It's beautiful.
I think so. But, no, so anyway, Sylvain, there's my answer to your question. Yeah, you're absolutely right, of course. At the end of the day, the responsibility, the buck should stop with me. And all of us me's.